Hey everyone, and welcome to Custom Carving and Epoxy UK live again. And it's a bit of an unexpected one. I'll be honest, as you can probably tell by the title. And you know what? I wish I wasn't having to do it, but I think somebody has to. And that's why I'm doing it. So I will ask everybody in chat to please be respectful. There is going to be an opportunity for anybody to ask any questions. That's why I'm doing this on a live, to be completely transparent with all of you amazing people in the community, because I've been thinking about this for a long, for the last 4 days, as you can imagine. Those of you that are in that particular Discord will know what's happened. I've not slept. I'll be honest. I've not slept. All I've been doing is thinking about this, and I feel it needs to be voiced. I've had channels reach out to me where they've had the same experience with this particular individual. I'm not going to name them because they've already threatened legal action against my channel on one of their lives. And they've threatened that they've gone to the police and YouTube, which I've done none of those things, let me just add. But I just want to share the story. So there's going to be a chance for everyone to chat. There's going to be a chance for anyone to ask any questions. And I want to say thank you to everyone for being here as well. It's amazing to see you all here, especially on a Good Friday. You know, I was hoping it'd be a Good Friday. I wasn't expecting to be doing this, but thank you to all the legends in chat. And there's a link in the pinned comment. If anybody wants to come on stage after I've explained what has gone off to ask questions, you're more than welcome. If you don't feel comfortable with doing that, don't feel obliged. Put your question in chat. I'll still answer it. Hopefully you guys have got to know me over the last 20 weeks doing my lives. And that's where I think this person has picked the wrong channel this time. And I know it's happened before. And I know that this is hopefully an opportunity to talk up for those channels that didn't talk up then, and to hopefully expose this person for what they are. And it sounds horrible because, again, even just before the live, I've been thinking to myself, I don't want to be doing this, because no matter how it happens, in a way, I'm going to look bad, you know? And in a way, if this person suddenly loses her following or anything like that, I don't want that to happen either, because do you know what? I know how much it means to her in different ways. And I just hope that it opens people's eyes to what is really happening behind the scenes. And I'll ask you all to keep your opinions until you've heard the story. So I want to start out by saying that I'm not going to be naming names because of those threats. And there's another part to this story, which is to do with brands. And I'm not going to name the brands. I think that would be unprofessional. But anything that I say on this live, I want you to know that I can back it up with evidence, whether that's in form of DMs, whether that's in the form of emails. I have evidence to back up what I'm saying. And that's what makes this different, because this particular individual has ranted about people in the past without evidence. And what I'm prepared to do is not share every screenshot, because, again, I don't think that's the best way to do it. But if there's somebody that we all trust in the community at the end of this and you want me to show, but I'm going to be reading out some of them anyway, so you'll see that I've actually got them in front of me. But if you want me to send these particular documents that I have and evidence that I have that this has been happening, I'm happy to share it with one nominated person that we all trust. So I'll let you guys decide on that. And again, I don't say anything that I can't back up in this. And it's sad. It really is, because I'm not angry. I'm disappointed, because I thought me and this person had the same vision. You know, I thought we were about helping people. I thought we were about helping channels grow. And that's what means so much to me in this space. That's why I give up every free minute of my time to this community, to trying to help everyone grow. And I thought this person was the same until recently. So I'll start off at the beginning. I'm going to refer to this person as Miss T. That way, none of us know who the actual individual is. But what I will say is, if you want to know and you don't know, then please go back and look at my earlier lives. They were on the channel. And on those comments with that particular live, and this is the other reason I'm doing this, they've accused me of bullying old ladies, which I can't have that against my name. I'm one of those people where I've always stood up for doing the right thing, and I would not be accused of being a bully. I think most of you have got to know me over the last 20 weeks and know that I'm quite the opposite, you know, and I think this is where I felt I've had to talk. So feel free, go back through the lives. You'll see the comment there, because the person has actually left it on there, which is also publicly slandering me and my channel, which I'd like to add I haven't done about them. And I think this is why it needs to be said. So I got involved in Resin, as you all know, probably about a year ago. Before that, it was a wood carving channel, but then I fell in love with resin, and you know, I fell in love with this community. You know, I love the people in it. I love the fact that 95% of this community are here to help each other. You know, you can ask anybody any questions and we're here to help. Even some of the biggest artists, they do their videos and they say they want it to be inspiration for others to do. You know, it's not, this is my recipe and I want all of the views for myself. It's about how we can help each other and even how we can help each other grow, you know. And one of the best things about these lives for me over the last 20 weeks is getting to know the real people. And I hope that in the same sense, you guys have got to know me. This is the story. I'm going to go to actually start showing these comments as well once I've gone through what's gone off, because I know there's a lot of people in the amazing community of the Crafty YouTubers United, and I've loved being part of those collabs. I've loved watching what people have been doing that aren't in the Discord. You know, you're just on YouTube, so you might not even know what's happened. But basically, in a nutshell, this particular individual that I'll refer to as Miss T, I first started speaking to her, I think it was last November, found out about Crafty YouTubers United, invited me to the Discord. I joined, you know, and I thought everything was great. I started noticing that certain people were just vanishing. And a few other people in Discord have noticed this. There's some amazing artists in there that just vanish. And I think I figured out why now. And you know what? I've been nothing but friendly to this person. You know, I can share 6 months worth of DMs where I've sent them DMs just to check up on them and say, how are you doing? Because you looked a bit down in your latest video. Things like that. That's the sort of person I am, not a bully. And again, I'm happy to share that with somebody if you feel it's required. But where this all started really was when this person disagreed with my point of view. And in my real life, you might know I work in recruitment. I've mentioned it a few times. Now, that makes me normally a pretty good judge of character, hopefully, by interviewing people. And this person managed to pull the wool over my eyes. I believed every word, you know, and I think many of us have been taken in. But since this has all kicked off, by the way, I just want to say I've had some amazing people reach out and share their stories with me as well as to what's happened. Big channels and small channels. And they said to me that they didn't want to voice it. And it's because in one way or another, I suppose there's that fear factor. There always is when it comes to bullies, because that's what they rely on at the end of the day. A lot of them are keyboard warriors. A lot of them like the power. People with narcissistic personalities. You'll see most senior leaders in politics are narcissists in one way or another. And they will always have a group of people around them, no matter what they do, you know. And I look at some of the most senior people in the world and I see very narcissistic traits, but in those jobs, they probably need it to get there. I don't think we need that in a resin community. And I think that is the big difference here. So again, going back to the story, I started my lives, you know, I had that person on my lives to help them grow their channel and hopefully to teach you guys something as well. I've done the lives consistently ever since, and I've still been communicating with that person. And I believe that they were my friend. And that's what makes this really disappointing. Probably just before Christmas, there was a few strange comments, what was said about other artists, and I just ignored it and just carried on, if I'm being honest at that point, because it didn't make sense to me. And I thought maybe this person was just having a bad day, because what they were saying didn't add up to me with these other artists from what I knew. And I ignored that at that point and just carried on. I carried on growing. I carried on working with this individual a lot, you know. I got involved. I was talking to them almost daily, you know. And I shared some news a few weeks ago on my lives. And I think this is where it all started, I think. And I could be wrong. You know, this is my point of view. I'm not saying that this is a fact, but this is where it started. I got really excited because I'd been speaking to 3 different resin brands, and I'm not going to name them because it's not professional, and I'm hoping to work with them in the future, regardless of what's gone off, you know, because there's some amazing brands out there. And if I'm being honest, I think they've had the wool pulled over their eyes by this person because it happened to me. And I was really excited because I thought, you know what? I've got people that are interested in sponsoring these lives that I do every week, you know, because for them, it was a great way to get in front of a resin audience. And for me, if I could get some form of sponsorship for the channel, it would then help me to grow it, you know, for you guys, do more giveaways, do more things like that, so that we can help those channels. And it's like, even if it was, I don't know, a £30 packet of mica powders or something, I could do a giveaway on each week or something like that. That would help somebody out there that can't necessarily afford them, because we all know it's expensive. This is why I wanted to do it initially. And I was really excited. I reached out to this person in question and I told them that was my mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I said to them that I'm in talks with different resin suppliers about potentially sponsoring the lives. And that's where I left it. 2 days later, I got a message from said person in my DMs, good luck with X supplier. Now, I was like, hang on a minute. I haven't told you who I'm in talks with. So how do you know that, for a start? And I've got this all in DMs. So again, I don't need to prove that the conversation happened, because this person has very clearly stated that it happened by naming the supplier. And you know what? I was quite surprised. And I said, well, how do you know which supplier it is? The response was, I talk to this supplier every day, Andy, and I also speak to 2 of the other major suppliers on a daily basis, just so you know. Now, to me, that was a little bit threatening. And it's almost like this person was claiming that they had a monopoly over who suppliers work with. And that was shocking to me. That was the first glimpse of this narcissism. And I was like, wow, this is a completely different person, you know? And it shocked me, to be honest. It did shock me. But do you know what? I did the right thing. I went back to that supplier and I said, look, I appreciate what you're saying. This might not be the right time for you to work with the lives. I thought it was strange, because we'd been communicating for a month and we were both really excited about it. But I said, okay, hopefully we'll speak again in the future and you'll work with the channel, because I love your products and I want to work with you. Then lo and behold, the day after I got booted from Discord, I got an email from that supplier. I hadn't reached back out to them. I got an email from them stating that they want to clarify that they were in no way influenced by one person's decision, which again tells me that that conversation happened, because I didn't reach out to them. So that, I think, is proof enough for me that this person had been talking about my channel to suppliers behind my back, which I don't know if it was good. This person, again, to be fair to them, they claim that everything they said was great about me. But again, that doesn't add up. That then a supplier that I'd been talking to for over a month, and I had done little projects with them in the past, had then suddenly said, we don't want to work with your channel. And it wasn't even just the lives at that point. It was what they had been doing with my channel. So that tells me that it probably wasn't a positive conversation. And that's just common sense, is what I'll say on that. And again, what really upset me about that is the fact that it was almost felt like a threat that she speaks to the other suppliers, you know, because who is she to claim that she has this monopoly over who works with who? And that's the thing, what genuinely worried me. It was the fact that her next comment in that chat was, you're not ready for sponsorship, Andy. That was the next comment in the chat by this person. And I'm sorry, but I put a lot of work into this channel for everybody. And I don't think that person has a right to tell me that I'm not ready for sponsorship. That should be up to each individual brand. And again, the reason I am not going to be naming those brands is I think it's unprofessional to do so. But if there is a trusted person in the community that people want me to send these messages to, I will, you know, because I think everybody deserves to know that this isn't me making up a story. This is a fact. And there's another brand that I've worked with quite a lot. And do you know what? They made a mistake over 12 months ago. I'm not going to hide around that. They did, with some big channels. And it was questioned at the time by those big channels. But then they apologized and they explained in their version of what had happened. Now, to my knowledge, those big channels have left it there. And there isn't a massive animosity or anything like that coming through now. They've just moved on. But this particular individual, Miss T, hasn't. Every time I mention this particular brand, all she does is put them down and said that they're not ethical. Nobody should be working with them in the whole community. And the latest issue that she had with them was a purifying machine what they'd brought out. And for about 4 or 5 months after it was released, she was saying, well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm going to get my special friend that works for 3M to have it scientifically tested to show it doesn't work. I'm going to report them to trading standards. Good. I can see you comment in chat. I'm not going to say who Miss T is. Most people with common sense know. But if they want to find out, they can look at my earlier lives and see who's put the comment on the earlier live to call me a bully. And then it'll be very clear, is what I'll say. If that person wants to come in and say who they are, then fine. I'm happy for them to do that. So going back to that, I think obviously that was the first issue that this person raised with regards to that air purifier. I then got a message 2 months later to say that she'd done that scientific testing and it worked. Guess what? The story changed then. It wasn't that it didn't work anymore. It was that it was too expensive. And that was the biggest issue, what made it unethical. And I don't know about you. I'm quite a sensible person. I'm quite logical. And I put things into logic. So it does work. Brilliant. Can you get a cheaper model? Yes. You know, there's no hiding around that. But for me, it's the same as when I want a pizza, you know? I can choose to have a Domino's. I can choose to have a Papa John's. I can choose to have a lovely pizza in a lovely restaurant, or I can choose to have a Tesco's frozen aisle. You know, when I buy a car, I could buy a Lamborghini, or I could buy, I don't know, a 20-year-old used Ford Focus. They'll both do the same job. They'll both get me from point A to point B, and they're both massively different in price. You know, it's my choice as to which one I go with at that point. And that's the thing. You buy what you can afford, and you buy what works. As long as the product works, I don't have any objections. Brands can set their prices. They've all got different margins. They've all got different costs that we don't know. And this particular brand, I think what they're doing with the smaller channels is actually a great thing. You know, there's not many of the big brands that reach out to the smaller channels and say, look, we want to send you a piece of equipment. We want you to do an honest review, you know. But I've noticed recently, and specifically within the Crafty YouTubers United community as well, they're popping up on a few more channels, which tells me that they're doing the same for other small channels. And I think that's brilliant because it helps them grow. It helps them possibly test equipment, what they might not have been able to afford, you know. And I think more companies should do that, you know, because for them, it's a great way to get their brand in front of people. And it's a great way to give honest reviews. And actually, I think they should be commended for that, not pulled down. And then the other day, and I'm going to have to hold my phone for this bit because I want to read out what this person classes as was a threat from me, and why I was booted from the Discord that I'd been in, day out, and supported people in for well over 6 months. So I'm going to read that conversation out for you. And you can decide, first of all, if you think it's a threat or not, because I certainly don't. I think the conversation was had because I was saying that everybody was entitled to an opinion in this community and they can make up their own minds. So sorry, I'm just loading up the actual conversation because I want to say it word for word so I can't be misinterpreting anything. So Miss T, I'm going to read out this conversation. So if you give me, I know it's going to take a little while, but I think it's important I do it because this is what they were classing as a threat. This is what they were saying is the reason that I'm out. So this was the conversation initially that was had in Discord. Miss T, I've turned down this particular brand's machine for the usual reasons. I think they're unethical and won't work with them. I'm still working on the video. My science guy and trading standards are checking things out. By the way, this was after she'd already sent me a DM to say that it works. I will be doing a video on it. I'll be doing a video on another model, which is a quarter of the price and better. And this particular brand offered me a debubbler, and to pay me to do a good review, they got the usual response. I won't damage my channel's integrity. It's my livelihood long term. I can't afford to. Okay. Then it carries on. So somebody else agreed with her. And she put, thanks. So many people are falling into the trap for a quick buck. From these known con artists, which actually, if they're watching this, I'll be happy to send them these messages and they can do with them what they want, because I think that isn't factual. That's somebody's view, and that's very dangerous. That was the first part where I only promote products from ethical companies and products I have checked out properly. Now, I've heard on multiple videos this person getting involved in disputes. Whenever there's a dispute that comes up, I think to try and get more views, if I'm being honest. And if you look back in the earlier video, she works with those brands. And I think that's where I question the ethics argument, because if that was the case, the last thing I would do is still have those videos on my channel with those brands, if I genuinely believe that. And again, I'll add to that with regards to what's happened to me. Once I was booted from the Discord, 17 minutes later, after I was booted, after I was accused of bullying, 17 minutes later, this person then took a live that I did with her on her other channel to help YouTubers grow and shared it 17 minutes after and hid me. Why would you do that if you genuinely think I'm a bully? The last thing I would be doing is sharing a video that I did with that person 17 minutes after I'd booted them from a Discord. So again, I'm just going to put that out there now, so that's there as well. Now, continuing on with this conversation, I'll be honest, I like them. I like their machines, and I like the way that they support a lot of small channels. I get they made a mistake a while ago. They're saying it's with an external marketing company, and some of the bigger artists' comments what they used. But the machines I use have always worked for me, and I've done nothing but try and support. They've done nothing to me but support my channel. I think everyone should be entitled to a view and to make their own opinions. There will always be cheaper options on the market, is what I put, and they seem to be supporting a lot of the smallest channels, which I don't think is a bad thing. I hope that view doesn't offend anyone, and that's actually the word for word what I put. Miss T then responded saying, it's not an opinion, Andy. They are buying support. They have been publicly seen to be dishonest. And now they have a product that even trading standards are scrutinizing, which, again, I don't necessarily believe. I've not seen evidence of that, which I would, again, like to see to actually put that to the question as to whether or not it is true. If you want people not to trust you and kill your channel, carry on, though. It's your channel, your choice. We have all seen the evidence in black and white over their website. Then she put, I won't be associated with it. If they had been based in the UK, they would have been prosecuted. Again, this is her opinion. As far as I know, she's not a barrister currently in the UK, so I don't know why she's entitled to that opinion. I just can't live with myself if I recommend these products that are cheaply made and overpriced from a dishonest firm. I won't be so. I then went on to say that, but that is one side of the story, is all I'll say. I don't want an argument, but I think everyone can make up their own opinions, or contact them and ask them, and then make a decision based on hearing both sides of the story, not just your version. And again, just to clarify, this is my version. This is what's happened to me. So I know there's a couple of comments going off in chat right now. This is what has happened to me. I'm not going to go through everybody else's story, what's happened. And I put these are just my thoughts. I put this in the chat. Most resin suppliers and companies are also, I suppose, buying support by sending out products. It's a great method of advertising and getting your products out there. As long as people give an honest review, that's all that matters. And then the next comment from Miss T was, I shall promote instead an honest product that does the same thing for a quarter of the price. Viewers first always. They aren't Andy. This particular brand are relying on the thought that none of us have the technical know-how to analyze the product properly. Luckily, I have. My next response was, again, you have said to me on DMs, it works, which she has, and I can provide evidence of. The next comment from Miss T, they put out their side of the story. They confessed to faking reviews, which I don't believe they did. They said it was an external marketing company, just to be clear on that point. They have also admitted to me that they should have just told everyone that it is a simple HEPA and carbo filter. Now, I believe the reason they didn't do that is they're the only ones at that time that had this particular filter on the market. And if I'd just released a product, I wouldn't share what's in it with everybody else because everybody else would just copy it. That's, again, my view. And I put here, they confess to using an external marketing company who made the mistake. I work in business. I know that this is possible because I've worked with marketing companies, and I have. And a lot of the time, they're useless. They just take your money and do nothing for it. At which point, she says that they are legally liable for the people that they outsource to, and it was a deliberate act. You don't accidentally fake reviews. I'm sorry, I've seen that many, many times. So I disagree with that point. And I put, so mistakes in business never happen. She then put, I won't discuss it any further. It was very public. Everybody knows. want all of us to have the channels for the long term, not kill them. I then said, and you don't see the main artist mentioned kicking up a fuss about it anymore, because I haven't seen any of them kicking up a fuss about it, because it was over a year ago. And she put, no, because they've dealt with it. So why keep bringing it up is my argument in this case. There's no point, you know, leave the past in the past is what I have always said. And she's put that this latest scam of theirs is going to, it has been reported to Trading Standards, who are looking into it. At which point, I'm just reading through the messages to make sure it's relevant. She did mention that Daniel had never done a review with them and that Julie never wrote a review for them. Every word starting with a capital letter. Well, that says it all, and that proves that it was them doing it. And then she talks about vicarious liability. I put, anyway, I'm not here to argue. I just think there's always more than one side to every story. And it's important that people hear both sides and can make their own minds up. At which point, that was finished as far as I was concerned. And the conversation did go on, which I've got the rest of it, and I'm happy to share it, but I don't think it's really relevant. At no point did I bully her in there. I then did DM her the next day. And I said to this person, Miss T, that I'm asking nicely because I believe we're friends. Please don't contact any suppliers about my channel behind my back, because I don't think it's professional. I'm aware that this has happened, and I would like to ask you not to do it. And if you do it, I will go public. That was the threat. So you guys tell me if you think that's a threat or if that is me protecting my channel. You know, I think most of us would do the same thing. But that's why I got blocked. That's why I got kicked out of Discord. That was threatening behavior. That also allowed this person to then say that I bully old ladies publicly about my channel, which really hurt me, if I'm being honest. And the fact that they use the word plural there as well, which is ladies, I would like to know who I'm supposed to be bullying here. Because if I believe that Miss T feels bullied, which I don't, by the way, then that's one person. That's a lady. It's not ladies. So if anybody else out there feels bullied, I want you to come up and I want you to talk to me about it, you know. And you know what? She doesn't like the fact that I didn't agree with her point of view, at which point I became enemy number one, which has happened time and time again with different artists. And I'm sorry to say that there are people that are probably in this chat right now that are very close to this individual and will be backing her up no matter what happens, no matter what evidence they see. They will still back this person up, and that's fine. Everybody can have an opinion. But again, I don't want people in the Crafty YouTubers United community to not know what's going off behind the scenes by the person who I think set up that community and claims responsibility for that community. I think when it gets to a point where we've got such a large community of amazing artists and resin artists, one person shouldn't have that power. I think it should be people that are elected in. I think it should be people that we all want as representatives for us as a community. And I think that for me, the only fair way to do that is for people to nominate people. Those people are then elected by votes by the community, and then they have to have a meeting between themselves, and it has to be a unanimous decision, not one person's opinion. That's what I think we need to do. But that is in a nutshell what has happened here. I've then been called a bully. I've then been threatened since that this person's apparently rang the police. But again, this isn't me making fun of it. But I mean, would you ring the police and say, excuse me, I've been threatened? And then they would say, first question I would ask as a policeman is, well, what have you been threatened with? Somebody told me not to contact suppliers about their YouTube channel or they'll go public. They would laugh her off the phone. I'll be honest. I don't believe she's gone to a legal team about it because I haven't publicly slandered Miss T in any way, shape or form. She has me though. And I have every right, if I wanted to report her for public slander. I don't want to do that because I'm not that kind of person. And I love this community, even those that make mistakes, you know, and I'm just hoping that this opens people's eyes as to what's happening behind the scenes. Because, for example, if you work with this particular brand, which I know a lot of you do, you could be the next target. And I don't want that to happen because I genuinely love and care about the people that I work with. So in a nutshell, that is the main nuts and bolts of the story. There's a lot more to it, and I could go through everything else, but I don't think I need to. I think people will have questions, and that's what this is about. You know, this is about you as a community. You can ask me anything. You've seen I'm transparent, and I've got all of this backed up. I'll share every message I've ever had with this individual, with a nominated person, as well as the emails that I've had from those suppliers since, to prove that the version of events that I'm saying. And the reason I felt compelled to do this is, since this has all happened and it's gone public, I've had other channels reach out to me, big and small. I'll be honest, big and small channels, to say they've had exactly the same experience. And do we want somebody like that representing us as a community? Because how many channels are out there where this has happened to and they've just stopped publishing? You know, they've given up on YouTube because they don't want it. And also, an interesting fact, you may have heard me on my lives, I've never had a troll, never, in all my time on YouTube, which is amazing. You know, I've never had a real troll. All of a sudden, past few days, I get certain people making negative comments on my videos, the same groups that I've seen do it before when people have been booted from Discord, which makes me think that this particular individual is asking people to do that, or they just blindly do it to support her, you know. But again, it's a small coincidence. I've never had a troll until the past 2 days. And then all of a sudden, I've got people putting comments that could be viewed as negative on my videos, you know? So, I mean, that's the story. If anybody wants to talk, the invite's there. I'll put it in chat again. So anybody here can come up and they can talk, or I can put the question on here like this. And I'm happy to answer any questions you've got. And I will answer every question. If we're here till 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll answer it as best as I can. It is only my view, but I'm hoping that you guys will see me for what I am. And I also want you to do me a favor. Anybody that wants to, hang on, sorry, I'm just trying to copy the link. I'm doing a million things at once here, and put it in chat. So this is the link in the chat now. If you want to come on camera, feel free. You know, I'm more than happy to chat. Or you can put your questions in chat and I'm going to start putting them up. But I also want you to do me a favor and look at my body language. If you don't believe me, look at my body language. And then I want you to go back and watch the live on Miss T's other channel about growing your YouTube channel from yesterday, about 8 minutes in, when she stated that she's gone to the police, she's gone to her legal team, and she's gone to YouTube. And I want you to look at that body language very carefully. And I want you to tell me that you can honestly think that that person's telling the truth, and then come back to me with that. And that's public. So go and watch that and come back before you tell me that you think that that person's completely telling the truth. So I suppose at this point, it's over to you guys. I wanted to get this story out there because I love you guys. You know, you're my life outside of work. I work full time and I do this. That is it. And all I want is to have fun, create amazing things with resin, and help people grow. And you guys have seen that on my lives week in, week out. And I would not put up with somebody bullying my channel and accusing me of bullying old ladies. It's not right. I'm always about doing the right thing, and I'll stand up for what I believe in. And there's been many channels that haven't up until this point that I've since found out through them reaching out to me, you know. And again, I'm not going to share all of their stories. That's not for me to do. I'm here to share my story, and I think that's what I've done. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, feel free. The mic is yours. You can come up on stage if you want. I'll send you the link again. Can you not see the link in chat? Hang on, I'll do it again. I'm not going to post a link to that particular Q&A either, because again, this person that I'm not naming deliberately, because they've already threatened legal action, I'm not going to name them. But those of you that want to know who it is, look back through my early lives and look on the comments. It's as simple as that. You will see the comment where this person is accusing me of bullying old ladies. Then you'll know who I'm referring to. Again, there's the link again. So if anybody wants to come up on camera, feel free. We'll talk about anything you want, you know. Yes, Wendy, I do it full time, work full time, and I try and do this full time as well. But don't feel bad about one video a week. Your videos are amazing, Wendy. I love watching them. And the editing, I need your editor. He's brilliant. But again, thanks everybody for turning up as well. You know, I just wanted to get my story out there. And there's other channels that have had a similar experience. You know, I'm going to keep doing this no matter what. You know, if for whatever reason I get threatened with legal action, I'm not scared, you know, because I haven't publicly in any way, shape or form slandered this person. They have me. And I actually hope they do go to YouTube. If they do that, I'll have no choice but show what evidence I've got and report their channel. I don't want to do that because I also know it means a lot to them. And I just genuinely think they need to look in a mirror and get help. You're welcome, Claire. Again, I'm one of those people, and I'm going to probably say language that I shouldn't hear, but I've been shat on too many times, is the way that I would phrase it in my life. And I won't have it anymore. You know, I see people all the time that for whatever reason, they don't feel empowered to talk. I'll talk. You know, somebody comes for me in my channel, everything that I'm doing, I will talk because I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in this community. I believe in all of us, you know, and the only way that we grow is by growing together, not by having somebody who claims to lead the community, which this person does. There's no getting around that. Who's doing these sort of things behind people's back. You know, there's too many of those people in real life. We don't need them in the resin world as well. It's hard enough. It's hard enough for a small channel to get monetized. It's hard enough for a small channel to get to the point where they've got 1,000 subscribers and 4 hours of watch time. Yes, Kernix, I will pin that link. Sorry. There we go. That should now be pinned at the top. But it is what it is, you know. I'm a real person, you know, but I'm lucky. I've got thick skin. So no matter what somebody says to me and does to me, and has it affected me? Yes, I'll be honest. I've got 6 hours sleep in the last 4 days because I thought, what if people actually believe that, you know? Because again, to you guys, you've not met me. That will change tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. I'm meeting a couple of real artists IRL, so that'll be great. But you haven't met me. All you see is what you see on the camera. And it's the same with this other person, Miss T. And if all I saw was her videos, I would think that she was a saint. You know, I would think that she's in it for the right reasons. And that's where I fell into the trap. But it also makes perfect sense if you have narcissistic tendencies to support smaller channels. And then when they're a threat, if you're bigger than them, threaten them, you know, which is what's happened here. And I'm shocked that she felt that she had the right to talk about my channel. If a supplier came to me and said, what do I think to, I don't know, Kernix Creations? My answer would be, I think they're great. However, I think as a brand, you should make your own decision. That would be my answer. So this is what's happened, you know, and if anybody feels like I need to provide the screenshots, I will, you know, I've got nothing to hide behind. I've got all of the DMs. I've got the emails from the suppliers as well at weird timings, coincidentally, when Miss T had just messaged me, you know. So, I mean, it's just one of them things. I'm happy to share it, you know. I'm not a bully. And I never will be. But if you want to specifically know who this person is, do me a favor. Look back on my Q&A lives. The playlist is there. I think it's the 3rd or 4th in the list where this person was on my channel. They'd been on my channel twice. That's how much I thought we would work well together. And I've been on their channel as well. And look at the comment at the top. And look at the responses as well. Do me a favor and look at that. Because even in those comments, she trips herself up. Where she said, you hid me. I haven't ever hidden this person off of YouTube because I want to know what's being said. They hid me because after they put that comment on, I responded straight away. Later on down in those comments, she says, well, in that case, why did it take you 2 days to respond? Look at the timing of my response. Then tell me who the liar is. But that's that. But if anybody's got any questions, now's your time. I will answer anything, even if we're here till 4 o'clock in the morning, you know. And I appreciate you're going to have a different point of view, some people, and that's okay. You know, everybody's got a different point of view, but that's actually what I was fighting for in the Discord, in that chat, is so that everybody can have an opinion, because one person shouldn't dictate the whole view of all of us. And that's where we can all make our own minds up. And that's what this is all about. So I'm going to read out some of the comments that are coming up. And any questions. So do me a favor, if you've got a question, put it in caps lock, because I might miss some and I don't want to do that. I want to be transparent with everything. Pin the link. You can click on the link and opt to pin. I already have. Should be pinned to the top. Hang on, I've just read that comment, so I'm just pasting it again. So it's in comments. And I think with StreamYard, I think you can only star it, not pin it. So I've starred it, so it should remain at the top of the chat. So I don't know. Let me know if that's worked, because if not, I'll find another way to send it to somebody in Discord or something like that, and we can share it. But also, what I'm going to do as well. Oh, Chippy Doodle, I'm really sorry to hear that. You know, it's don't. And again, I'm not doing this for admiration. I don't want admiration. You know, I don't want to have to be doing this, but I also want the community to be aware of what happens. This person isn't a saint, and don't be fooled. You know. And this isn't me being horrible. This is my experience of what's happened to me. Her name is Amber Heard, isn't it? Again, I'm not confirming or denying who it is. Either way, you can put whatever names that you want in there. So I'm just going to start going through some of these comments now. If you've got any questions, put them in capitals. That way I won't miss them. You know, and again, if for whatever reason you can't see that link to join, then it should be starred at the top of the chat. But if you need me to put it somewhere else in a Discord so you can join, happy to do that. So just let me know on that. I agree, Lynn. I don't think it would be heard in court because it's YouTube and everyone's entitled to an opinion. But what they're not entitled to do is give their personal views and slander other channels. That's where I would have more of a case than this particular individual if I chose to go down that route. But I haven't threatened any action against this person because genuinely, I just hope that they look in a mirror and get help. That's what I want to happen from this. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. It makes it all worthwhile, you know, that people like the videos I'm doing, you know. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not getting the most views. I get 300 views a video on average. And those of you that are in the industry that have your own channels, you know that probably equates to 50 quid a month. I spend more than that on resin, but it's still worth it for comments like that. You know, if it inspires somebody, if it helps somebody, that's what I do this for. Yeah, and I mean, it does happen. And this is the thing, it's not just trolls. Sometimes you've just got to worry about who's in your actual Discord, who's in your community. And I just want to add, I'm going to carry on going down these, but that idea that I've had to set up a new Discord, it's now set up. And if you guys want to join, I'll be happy to have you in. But I'm not leading that. I want the community to lead that. I've set it up. I've put the idea in there that we elect officials to represent us in there. And I think that's the safest way to do it. So I'm happy to do that. And I've called that United We Resin. And I'm not going to make people email for the special link. I'm going to make it public in the comments of this after I've finished, so anyone can join. And then hopefully we'll get people nominating themselves to be resin guardians for the community. Then we'll vote them in. It's as simple as that. I probably won't even put myself forward, you know, that's because I don't think I can dedicate the time to it that I need to. But we can all choose as a community then who represents us. Don't worry, Susie, I'll be staying no matter what, you know. I don't give in to bullies, never have, never will. Thanks, Gina. Appreciate you. Lynn, as well, appreciate you. Petra, I'm sorry that you had a similar experience. Okay, I don't know if it's the same person or not. If you want to reach out on DMs, I'm happy to chat to you, Petra. You know, and tell you sort of what evidence I've gathered in case things like that do happen. And it goes to threats. No, you're right, Lula. It's not YouTube as United as a whole at all. It's one bad apple is the way that I would phrase it. But unfortunately, with one bad apple, it can sometimes rot to the core and start spreading. You know, I think there's some amazing crafty YouTubers out there, and I've loved being part of the collaborations. But again, whilst this individual is controlling that Discord, controlling the collabs, and booting people left, right, and center that disagree with her, I won't be part of it. I can't. I don't want to be associated with it. I don't want to be associated with bullies. Claire, I couldn't agree more. The resin community is the best of any community I've ever been part of. You know, we do rise by lifting others up and not telling them that the channel's not good enough for sponsorship, because that's not up to us. I've seen channels out there with 100 subscribers do a form of sponsorship. I've seen others with tens of thousands do sponsorship. That's up to the brands. That isn't up to the channels to tell people. So Julia from Crafty Chaos is putting, that's not how that happened. I've got the DMs to back it up with mine. I don't need to alter the screenshot. You know, I'll take it to a professional if needs be. I'm more than happy to provide my phone to show that it's not been doctored. You know, the chats have not been changed. They can only be changed if you edit them on a editing software, which I don't need to. But again, I appreciate you will have your own point of view. Everybody's entitled to it. So I still appreciate you giving your point of view as well. Exactly what Lula just said from Lisa. I agree. Koenig's as well, what Lula just said. I agree. And again, I want you guys to know, this isn't me saying the community. This is me explaining to that amazing community what is happening by the person that I believe originally set it up and that claims to be leading that community, because it needs to stop now. Because I think there's so many channels that we don't know about that this has happened to, and they haven't had a voice. They haven't dared speak out because of these threats. You know, I will. And that's the only difference. She's picked on the wrong channel this time. That's all. It's happened a lot, Steph. And that's one thing that's really opened my eyes as to how many channels this has happened to that I know of. And that's in the last 4 days. If anybody else wants to reach out to me where they've had a similar experience, you know, I'm happy to talk to you. And if it does end up going to the point where I have to report it, then we can all report it, you know, because that's what she's threatening me with. And I don't want to go down that route. I really don't. But do you know what? I'm also here as a support for anyone that needs it. We are real. I agree. And Julia, I know that you was on that live just yesterday. But again, look at the body language. When she said that she'd reported me to the police, to a legal team. I don't believe she's got a legal team. She might have contacted a solicitor, but not a whole legal team. Let's be honest. And also she's reported me to YouTube, apparently. I haven't heard anything from them. So again, just so you guys know, I'm safe at the minute because I've not slandered this person in public and they have me. Gert, I would have kept it between us had I not have been blocked from the community that I was part of. I got booted from that community. I couldn't defend myself when I saw what was being said in that community about me. You know, I've got friends in this community that I've supported and have supported me. You know, I've seen what's been said. Some of it by different people. And do you know what? I've never said anything bad about what people have said about me. They can all have an opinion, but that's fine. But I also deserve the right to defend myself to those people that have backed me and have supported me. And that's why I've done this on a live, so that it's there for everybody to see. You know, had I not have been kicked, had I not have been booted, had I been able to defend myself to that community in that Discord, which is the main place where that community resides, then I wouldn't have done it on a live. So there's that side of things. Thanks, Michelle. I don't want to put a case forward against this person. I just want you guys to be aware, you know, and I personally won't be part of that Discord anymore. You know, whilst that person is in charge of that Discord, I will have nothing to do with it. And it's sad because even recently, she's been making comments about other channels' collaborations, what they're arranging and things like that, which I've been made aware of. And it's almost vindictive. And it's almost like she's scared of bigger channels in some way. So she tries to come up with a story that suits to make them look bad. It's crazy, you know, and I don't want anything to do with it. So that's why I've put forward the idea of creating a new Discord, which I've spent best part of 5 hours last night doing till 4 in the morning, so that we can elect officials, you know. Remember Dan saying, remember that poor lady who tried making a video comparing ecopores? I heard about that, and she got a lot of nasty comments just for mixing something wrong. Hello, do you remember my video that I've recently done where I mixed ecopore with deep pore resin instead of water? Where were my nasty comments? You know, there weren't any, and that's a perfect example. That person's not in the Discord anymore. I don't even know if that person does videos anymore. Probably not. There's been a few that I've reached out to who they still won't speak because of the way that they were bullied. You know, that's what has to stop. And here, I'm not saying it's everyone. I think there's a bad apple in there, and that bad apple is spreading. You know, that's it. And it's a shame because it's a great community, and I don't even think the community knows what's happening. And that's why I've done this. Yeah. Thanks, Sandy. Check out the suitcases under my eyes. I thought I was hiding it quite well today, but there we go. Clear saying manipulation is when you focus on how you reacted instead of how they treated you. Again, I agree with that. There's an element of that, what happens, you know. I want to keep it positive, April, but if somebody comes after me and my channel and says to me that I bully old ladies, I can't turn that into a positive. You know, and I'm normally pretty good at turning negatives into positives, but there's no positives to be had in that. Mary, yeah, okay, she remembers that one as well. I would love to see this person to take me to court if they want to. You know, I haven't slandered them. I've tried my best not to name them either because I don't want to damage their channel. Everybody can choose to follow whoever they want. And I'm not saying don't follow this person. I'm not saying don't watch their videos, you know, do if you want. But I'm just saying, be aware to take everything she does with a pinch of salt because there's other stuff happening behind the scenes. I agree with that, Tim. We do grow by helping others, not by crushing others. And that's why I really didn't want to do this, you know. And I've done nothing but think about this for the past 4 days. But the thing that pushed me over the edge is how many channels have since reached out to me where they've had these same interactions with this person, but they haven't dared speak. So it makes me wonder how many haven't, you know. Is there another 100 channels out there that are not part of this amazing community because of this, you know? And what are we missing out on as a community if that is the case? There we go. So Donna from DNA is saying that she made one video after that and then quit YouTube. You know, it's a perfect example. We shouldn't accept it as part of our community, you know? I agree, Petra. Don't let anyone threaten you ever, you know? And I think people that do the threatening and the bullying, they rely on people not coming forward and telling their story. And they'll have people that will back them on it. And that's why people are scared to do it, especially if they've got more of a following than they have. But don't be, you know, be vocal. A bully probably hasn't had that problem. No, you're probably right, Rin. I don't know. I don't know. But again, yeah, Clear saying she did make it public. Go back and look on my comments, Gert. And I know sometimes me and you haven't seen eye to eye. We've got a bit of a joking relationship at times, Gert. But I think you're amazing in what you do, you know? And I think you're a bit tongue-in-cheek at the time, but I love that. I think it's part of your character, you know? But I'd never say a bad word against you because there's no need to, you know? We're all different. And that I say on every live. That's what I love about this community. We're all different. There's something for everyone. What you need to realize, Steph, at Highland, is that's what bullies rely on. The fear factor, that you're scared that they're bigger than you are. But you know what? I'm not afraid. You know, this person can do whatever they want. Worst thing that could actually happen, let's say they took me to court. Okay. Let's say they did report me to the police. But I would love to hear a police crime number if they have, by the way. So again, if that person's watching this back after, let me know the crime number so I can give them the defense. And again, if they have reported me, great, because I haven't ever publicly slandered them. They have me. That's why I've gone public. So there we go. I'm just going through to make sure I've not missed anything yet. I'm putting all your chats up on the screen as well. If you don't want me to do that, just put it in brackets before your question. I agree in a way, Lynn. It shouldn't be. It should have been kept between the two of us. But somebody's made it public and blocked me from the community that I've helped support. So I can't even defend myself in there. So that's why I've got done this live. I agree with that, Sandy. The fallout between two people is far different once one person takes action by blocking them and playing the victim. I agree. And again, go back and watch that live from yesterday on this person's other channel and read the body language yourself. Read mine. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm fretting. Tell me I'm panicking and all over the place when I'm saying that I'm reporting people to the police. I'm not. You know, I don't need to be. Everybody, April, I agree. Everyone can make their own opinion. But the reason I've had to do this live and I'm willing to put myself out there is A, because I'm blocked from that Discord. So I don't know what's being said about me. And I still don't know what's being said about me in DMs, you know. But I felt the need to defend myself to my community when somebody has publicly accused me of bullying old ladies. You know, something I wouldn't do, especially when, again, in the most complimentary manner, majority of my audience probably fall into that bracket, you know, and I love it. You know, I love learning from people. I think actually, and I'm not exactly a spring chicken myself, let's be honest. But you know what? I love learning from people, and often older people have more experience and can teach us an awful lot, you know? So it's the last thing I would do. Okay, so we've got Jules. I don't want people thinking I'm brave. I'm not brave. You know, I'm just thicker skinned, you know, and that probably comes from my life so far. You know, it's taught me many things. And the biggest thing it's taught me is to never back down from a bully. And again, that's why I'm doing this. You don't need to be sorry, Jules. You know what? You back me up just by being you. You're amazing. I love that you're doing blooms now. And I hope I've had a little bit of inspiration for you on that. You know, nobody needs to feel bad about any of this except for the person in question. And I want that to be crystal clear, even if you've had the wool pulled over your eyes, because that happens a lot, I've seen. Again, I'm not going to name all of the other channels that I was referring to. I don't know if that's what that's referring to, but I can happily share the fact that I've got at least 6 other channels that have reached out to me since to explain their experience, you know, and that's in 4 days. How many will I get in 4 months? How many will I get after watching this live? You know, I'll probably get another dozen reach out to me to say they've had the same experience. Claire's saying it's not just me. And that's, again, it's reiterating what I've just said. Okay, I didn't know that you were going to sort of disclose that, but yeah, you know, and it just shows. And again, I think with Claire saying that, she's one of the most positive personalities I've ever come across in life or in YouTube, you know, and you know, it's just craziness. It's absolute craziness. It's like when somebody feels threatened by somebody else, they come out with a story to try and destroy them, you know? And again, the biggest thing that I think this person shouldn't have felt to have the audacity to do, especially when I know that she's an ambassador for some of these brands, is to say that she talks to them all daily, you know? And if you're a brand out there, I would pick who represents you better, you know? And I'm not even saying me in that, by the way, because if it, I doesn't, I want to work with any brand that wants to work with me. I won't hide behind that, providing I like their products, you know? But this whole thing has got me questioning which brands I'll work with, you know? And the fact that one's channel with a reasonably small following, you know, 20,000, it's not huge compared to some of the others, feels that they have the right to discuss your channel with brands, I think is craziness. But it is what it is. Exactly. I mean, Sandy, that's another reason I'm doing this. I'm hoping this person watches this and it stops them doing it to somebody else, somebody that won't speak out, you know, because it's happened. Trust me. Hey, Tina, nice to see you. Another regular. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the support. But again, this isn't, I don't want anybody to go out and start bullying this person either. I really don't. So please don't do that. Okay. I'm putting it out there. If you've done the math and you've worked out who it is, I still don't want you to go out there and put comments on their videos or anything like that. I don't want that to happen. I just think this person needs to take a good hard look in the mirror, look at their behavior over the last 12 months towards other channels and actually get help. That's what I hope is going to happen. And that's all I'm hoping for. There we go. So there's the link again. Wow, we've got quite a lot of comments to go through. So there's the link. I've started it to the top again. So if anybody wants to come on the camera, feel free to either paste that link, click that link, whatever you need to do, and I'll let you on camera and we'll talk about it, you know. If not, don't stress either. Again, I think everybody's got their own prerogative there, Lynn, as well. So I've seen that, and different people have different reasons. You know, it could be that they're at a point where they just don't want to cause a commotion. You know, because they're traveling along, they're doing really well. Why cause the commotion and the fuss? You know, some people are just like to block things out and leave it in the past. And I think everybody's well within the rights to do that. And I very nearly didn't do this live. Very, very close. But what pushed me over the edge to make sure it was done was the amount of channels that have reached out to me with their story since. And everybody is entitled to opinion. Again, I know that in that chat, people have said that the way that I spoke to Miss T was disgusting. I thought I was quite professional in that chat. And I just voiced that everybody should have an opinion and it shouldn't be forced upon us by one person, you know? I love that, Amy. Thanks for asking questions to try and make me laugh. Trust me, I need it at the minute. I don't know if Lisa can pin it. I've tried putting it in 2 or 3 times. Lisa, if you're listening, if you can pin it, then please do, you know. Or I can send it somebody on Discord and open Discord if that's easier, and you can share it around to anybody that wants it. Again, I agree with what you're saying there, Donna. If it happens once, it can be a mistake. But when it happens more than a handful of times, then there's a problem and it needs to be stopped. It's not just a disagreement between me and this individual. There's been many, many different occasions. I agree. Steph's channel is great. Tina, hi everyone. Yeah, it's because I'm doing it through StreamYard and not through YouTube. Let me try something actually. Let me open my YouTube, so you might get an echo for a minute, and then I'll put the invite link in via YouTube if it lets me. So just bear me a second. You may get a bit of an echo here if this works. So bear me a second. Again, I'm not the most technical of people, but let's see if this works. I'm going to try and access the chat via my channel, via another page, and we'll see if this works. I'm clicking on it now. It's loading. I'm going to put it in here. If somebody can pin it, let's see if this works. Pin message. There we go. It is now pinned. So if anybody wants to come up as a guest on the camera, it is now pinned, so you can do it. Again, if not, we'll just continue with this. Thanks, Susie. I think everybody deserves to know, you know, and everybody's entitled to an opinion. Some of you won't have a different opinion after this. That's okay. Oh, there's the echo. There we go. The echo's gone now. Hey, Erica, nice to see you in here as well. And again, I'm going to leave this on my channel. People can go back and watch it if they haven't had a chance. I've had some amazing people that are part of the Crafty YouTubers community over in Australia say that because of the timings, they might not be able to attend. This is staying on my channel. You know, I'm not mentioning the person in question. I'm referring to them as a character called Miss T, you know. So we've got Tea Garden asking to come up stage. I'm going to add them now. In fact, give me 2 minutes, Tea Garden. I'm just going to go through the rest of these, and then because I think we might get a few requests coming up now. Oh, hang on a sec. In fact, I'm going to pause the question. I think because Tea Garden's here, let's see what Tea Garden's got to say. Hi, are you okay?
Yes, yes. Doing
We've
good.
never spoken before, so nice to meet you, first of all.
Nice to meet you. I didn't know what I was entering, actually, so
Well, there you go.
I appreciate you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. You know,
Okay.
I appreciate you coming up and being able to say that. But as I say, it's for everyone. It's not for me. It's for the whole community. So let's see what happens from here. But I am going to put a link in the chat afterwards to a Discord that I'm going to set up called United We Resin, and we're going to elect a community of officials so that this doesn't happen again.
Well, I hope you get a good night's sleep tonight.
I'll try. I need it. But no, thank you. I appreciate you coming up.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello. Okay. We've got somebody called Custom Carving there that I've tried adding to the stage, but they're not coming up now. I'll keep trying in a second. Let's have a look. Donna. Of course you can. I'd love to have you both on that live. So again, for those of you that don't know, I've got Jelly Beans Crafts coming on May 20th, I believe. And now Donna's going to be on it as well, it looks like. So that'll be a great double live. Looking forward to that. Right, we're going to continue going through this. I'm sorry if I've not got to you. So we've got Custom Carving Aston to come on stage again. So hello, Custom Carving. Can you hear me? Hello? No, I think there's problems with the camera on that one, but there we go. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate that. Makes it worthwhile. That's why I do them. Hopefully it gives you a bit of a smile and teaches people a few things. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, Veronica. You know, it's one of those things. And I don't like to judge people. And again, those of you that have seen some of my lives know some of my personal story. And I've had people in my life where they've had genuine, I don't know, mental illnesses, you know, and it could be that. We don't know. And that's the worrying thing, is that people, I think, sometimes need help. And that's another reason why I'm doing this. I just genuinely want this person to take a deep look at what their actions have been like and get help. Steph, don't worry. Everyone's saying we've got Adele. I agree. Not everyone's got the strength to come forward. And people do have other things going off in their lives, you know. This isn't the most important thing to everybody, you know. It is to me, because I'm hoping one day this will be my career, you know, one day. And it's a long way away, trust me. But I love what I do. And that's why I can't have somebody slander me in public without responding, you know, because it means a lot to me. If a brand that was going to work with my channel sees that comment, they won't work with me. It's as simple as that. They might not after watching this, you know, and that's the risk. That is the risk I've taken. Nobody needs to explain anything, you know. I'm glad about that, Tiger Moth Resins. Thanks for sharing my channel, Claire. Appreciate it. I'm happy to share that. It's very simple to see. Go back. Go back, watch this back, and then I'm happy to share it with you. But I very, very clearly got it on that chat, and I think you were the guest on that, actually. I know it was a lady called Julia. I don't know if it was you, Julia, from Julia's Crafty Chaos. But to me, as a channel, the fact that individual 8 minutes into that show said that she'd gone to the police, she'd gone to her legal team, and she'd gone to reporting me to YouTube. That is a threat to my channel. That is a threat. Discord isn't private, you know. It's not. And no matter how you regulate it, there's ways to be in there. You know, there's people that have multiple profiles that could be in a Discord, you know. So you block one and they're still there. So again, my advice to anyone in a Discord or anywhere, if you don't want that comment going public, don't say it. Petra, yes, she did, as I've just mentioned. If you go back through my earlier live Q&As, look for the videos, the earlier ones, go through them. You'll see on one of them, she has publicly commented that I bully old ladies, which is ludicrous. And the fact that she's put ladies as well implies it's more than one. I've not had any other allegations apart from this one individual. So I'd like to know who the other person that I've apparently bullied is. What do you mean, where's your invite, Jules? If you want to come on, the link's at the top. You're more than welcome. Yes, Dan, I can send you a private message with an invite. Give me 1 second. Let me figure out how to do it from where I am. Okay, you should have that now. So that's been sent across. So Dan, you're more than welcome if you want to. Again, don't feel obliged, you know. Nobody needs to feel obliged to do it. This is me, you know. I'm as transparent as you can get. Yes, Len, you know, I mean, had I been able to defend myself in the Discord that I've been part of for so long and helped so many people, again, there wouldn't be a need to do a live, you know. Had that person not have publicly slandered me on YouTube, there wouldn't have been a need to, and I probably wouldn't have at that point. But again, it is what it is. Right, I would like to know why Miss T United blah blah are in the comments acting as though they have no clue about what has happened. I was there, I saw, I put my foot down, I left. Okay, interesting. Again, I don't think I was there for all of what happened. If you're referring to what happened before, I don't know. With me, you know, you can choose to be in whatever Discord you want. You know, I was nothing but professional to this person in that particular argument. And again, I've got the whole thing that I can share. Again, I want you guys to just remember to just stay respectful in chat as well. You know, people will have a different opinion. I don't mind that. Even if people support me, you know, if somebody else wants to support this individual, good luck to them, is what I'll say, because I've seen the true colors. Great to hear that, Soul Babe, that you like to watch many other channels. So do I, you know, it's great to learn from each other. And you're right there, Claire. People are going to believe what they want to. But what I will say is it's no surprise to me in the Crafty YouTubers United Discord, I don't see any channels with a large following in there anymore. You know, is there a reason? I don't know. Because I'd be in there if I was a big channel and I was part of the collabs. Of course I would. It's a great part of this community. Oh, thanks, Ania. I am staying no matter what. You won't ruin my channel. It's going to be here forever, you know, and it's because of you guys that I'm going to stay here. 95% of the community is amazing. I agree. What, maybe even more, you know, maybe 98%. But all it takes is that one bad apple that can ruin a lot of what would be great channels. I want us all to get along, April. I really do. But I also don't want one person thinking that this can continue when I've heard how many channels it's happened to. It's not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. And I'm probably going to get comeback from this. I know it. Yeah. I've got 200 videos out there. I'm going to start getting the nasty troll squad all of a sudden all over all of my videos. You know, I know it's going to happen because it's happened to other artists. I'm prepared for that. It started. Yeah, it started today. In fact, on my latest Dragon video. You know, I've never had anything like a negative comment before. But there we go. I've responded to it. I think most of this community. Hang on, Gertz just put it's not how I've sort of represented it. If you're referring to the way that I've represented it, then I apologize if it's been taken the wrong way, Gert. I love this whole community. You know, I love all of them. And even this individual in different ways, because I think certain days she tries to do good, you know, and I'll even say that about this individual, you know. But I think this is the sort of person what I've come across time and time again in life, where that's a front, and behind the scenes there's actually something else going off. And when she sees you as a threat, that's it, you're gone. That's my personal opinion, and I will voice that about this individual. It's not easy to speak out, you know. People that have known me, I've not been myself at work. You know, it's hard to do a full-time job on 3 hours sleep a night. I tell you that. You know, I've not poured resin since this happened. I've not done a single resin project. My members can back me up on that. Do you know how? They don't live with me, but one thing they do know is I'm not a month ahead on my videos at the minute, which I normally am. I'm 2 videos ahead. That's it. Because I've not filmed since this has started. I've been in turmoil with it, you know, and I'm quite thick-skinned. So I hate to think what's happened to other people that aren't as thick-skinned as me. Erica, you don't need to be sorry. You're amazing. I love your channel. Apart from the fact everybody struggles to say its name, Kishy Kitten Studio. Got it that time, I think, though. But no, love your channel as well. You know, don't be sorry about what's happened. It's nothing to do with this community. It's one bad apple, which unfortunately we get in many walks of life. Unfortunately, that bad apple thinks that they're in a seat of power where they can dictate whatever they want to people and get away with it. That stops today, hopefully. I agree, Stroppy Dragon Crafts, you know. It can be vicious, and I'm shocked, you know. This is a resin community. We're all grown-ups, you know. Let's get on. It's as simple as that, you know. Let's all get on. Let's help support each other. Let's help each other grow, you know. So again, Petra, if ever you need to reach out, you know where I am. We've spoken on Insta and stuff before. I'm happy to talk to you about your experience if you don't want to come up, you know. I wouldn't say that everybody's tarnished with a bad brush or anything like that, Kernix. Not at all. I think this is one person that I know of, and again, there may be people that support that person's opinion, which is up to them. And I want to be clear on that. You know, this is a great community. The Crafty YouTubers United. I just don't think they're being represented in the best light at the minute, and that's why I can't be part of it. When somebody who is supposed to be leading that community is coming after my channel and others, you know, and that's why I'm setting up the United We Resin Discord channel. And the way that I'm doing it is as a democracy, so that the community decides on everything. Daniel should have an invite. I'm just going through. Dan, if you're having any problems with that invite as well, send me a message. You should have it. I disagree with that, April, in the fact that I don't believe any discussion was had, because I was booted within 30 seconds of that DM. And the final words on that DM were, "That's it, you're out." So I have to disagree with that, I'm afraid, April, based on personal experience. Oh, that's amazing, Resin Waves by Veronica. I'd love to have you on the live one week. I do a live every Tuesday, just hear more about that story. And I'm glad that you're inspired, you know. Okay. Julia, I agree that she doesn't control the collabs, but she does control it when a lot of them go out. And I believe a lot of them are actually handed over to her by another channel at one point. But again, I won't get into all of that. But she does control booting people out the Discord, which was very clear by the fact that she booted me within 10 seconds of making her own mind up. Amy, Erica's singing with you. I agree, Rin. It's not. And that's what upsets me, the fact that she thinks she can talk to other suppliers who I'm sure she does have relationships with about other channels. It's not professional. I'm sorry if this chat's a little bit slow. We're catching up. I couldn't agree with that more, Claire. Everybody is entitled to their own point of view. They still are now, you know, even after this, you know, you don't believe me, that's fine. I'm not saying you have to. You believe that other person's version of events, then believe it. But I think I've evidenced enough just in what I've said here to maybe open a few eyes, you know? I'm not surprised. I know that Tiger Moth Resins, you know. I'm sorry, I don't know your name off the top of my head. I don't think we've spoken a lot. I know that from channels that have reached out to me. And that's another reason why I've done this, to be the voice for those that don't want to speak. You can still join, you know. The Discord that I'm going to be setting up, which I'm going to put in the comments after, anybody with an interest in resin, you don't even have to have a YouTube channel, join, you know, have fun. And the rest of the crafting community as well. It doesn't have to be resin. It is sad as well, Tina, but I don't think it's the whole of crafty YouTubers. All I'll say from my point of view, I won't have anything to do with that community until I know that that person is no longer at the top of that Discord. And the reason why is in that Discord, she has a lot of control over a lot of that community, which I think is wrong when things like this are happening. And that's why it makes me sad. If I know it's another collaboration, which isn't the same, and it's not classed as that particular Crafty YouTubers United, I'll get involved, you know? Or if I know there's a change where that person in that Discord isn't the only person that governs it, then I'll consider it again. But until that, I can't be associated with it anymore. And it's a shame because I love the people in there. Amy and Erica are now singing, which is great. Put a smile on my face. That's also true, Sandy. That's another reason why I'm not going to be part of it if I don't know when they are. You know, I can't see when they are, apart from if I see the YouTube video and things like that. But also, I don't know what's being said about them. You know, I loved sharing my art in that Discord and us all talking about it and us all talking about what we were going to do for collaborations and things like that. I loved it, you know, until this bad apple happened and this experience. It's not about being hurt. It's just about, Claire, you're saying that it's about being hurt. It's not about being hurt by that. It's about the fact that I don't think that that person has the right to. It's as simple as that. That person in question has got under 20,000 subscribers. What gives her the right to go to any sponsor, any potential resin supplier and talk about another channel, which I know has happened because she's admitted that in my DMs. It's not right, you know? It's not professional and it's not right. It's as simple as that. And the only thing I can think of with that is she doesn't want them to work with other channels so that they continue working with hers, you know? And that's what it comes across like. I agree, Katrina. Genuinely, probably 95%, if not more, of this community and the whole resin community is spectacular. It's amazing. But that's another reason why we need to get rid of these bad apples, because new people come into the community. If they have this experience, they're gone for life. Oh, Lisa sent it to you on Instagram as well, Dan. So you should have a way now. Again, Gert, the reason it's not between two adults is because I was booted. And at that point, I was also blocked. I've had no way of communicating with this individual to sort it out as two individuals. And again, as two individuals, if that's the way it was going to be, I wouldn't have expected after her booting me to be sharing the only live that I did with her on her other channel 17 minutes later. It adds to the character, I'm afraid. I agree. The whole thing is really disappointing. And I wish I wasn't here. Do you know what? It's Good Friday. We're meant to be celebrating Easter. We're meant to be having fun. We're not meant to be doing this. This isn't what resin's about. Resin's about having fun. You know, it's about creating things, not trying to destroy things, which is what I feel is happening here. And I want everybody in that community, you know, Know that you've got a voice, you know, as Dan's saying there, it's important. And that's why I'm doing it. You know, I'm risking a lot here. I'm risking people unfollowing me. You know, I'm risking losing subscribers. You know, if they don't agree with my version of events, I'm risking losing friends that I've got in this community. I'm risking sponsors not wanting to work with my channel. I'm risking guests not wanting to come on the lives that I've got planned for the next 2 months. You know, that's a lot of risk, but I'm doing it because I will never back down to a bully. It's as simple as that. And I'm doing it so that it stops it happening to other people. Sean, I agree. Crafty YouTubers is amazing. I just want to be crystal clear on that. And that's why I put, I was bullied out by Miss T. It's one person in that community that I have an issue with. Nobody else. The group is amazing. And it's worldwide. I've had many of the people from that group on my lives. I want to continue doing so. I love meeting them. They're amazing people. I just think they're being misled. And I think that they're getting the wool pulled over their eyes like I was. Julia, you're not blackballed from me at all. And I think you mean blacklisted there, but you're not blacklisted from me at all. I really hope that, you know, we can continue talking, even if it's after this, because I'd love to speak to you. And again, go into even more detail if I need to, because I don't want anybody being misled anymore. Thanks for joining Actually membership. It's really great to have you, Soul Babe, as well. Again, really appreciate that. You know, this is going to continue unless it's stopped. And that's the whole reason, you know. I'm going to keep doing my lives every Tuesday, hopefully getting new guests on there every week, you know. And, you know, we won't stand for bullying either. And if we all stand up as a community, these bullies will eventually get bored and go away. I agree, Erica. It is crazy. And again, we've heard tonight that some of the bigger channels out there who are nothing but positive have said that they've had a similar experience. You know, this isn't just me. It's not a personal indifference between one person. It's this one person and multiple other channels, you know? But she is April. If she can boot people whenever she wants in a Discord, she has control. You know? Of course you can, Susie. At the end of this live, I'm going to post a link to that Discord as well, because I'm not going to be, again, I think it's bizarre that when people want to join that particular Discord, they have to email this person in question in order to get entry. I think that's craziness. Most Discords don't work like that. You know, you click on a link, you join the Discord, and then you go, you're in. You know, it's not monitored by one person, and there's only one person that isn't welcome in that Discord, and that is the person that I'm referring to here. Everybody else, I don't care who you are, whether you've never poured resin before, whether you've got a massive following, you will be welcome in that Discord, but I won't be controlling it. I want to be clear on that. You lot are going to vote whoever you want to be controlling it into power. And I want at least 10 people on that panel. That way, it's got to be the community's vote, and those guardians will help protect the whole community. So it's not one person's opinion. It's going to be at least 10 people's opinion. Again, Dan's saying there, somebody else has quit YouTube, you know. That's all through run-ins with a bad apple. You know, it's got to stop. It has to stop. It's as simple as that. But it's craziness, you know. And these are the channels that we know about. Again, I just want to stress that if this has happened to anybody else after this live, feel free to message me. You know, I'll talk to you. I'll try and help if I can. I'll try and build your confidence back up, or whatever it is. And that's one of the things I've loved about my lives. I've had people come on there that I've never dared be in front of a camera, and they thanked me for giving them the courage to do it. You know, does that sound like the words of a bully? Make your own minds up. Make your own minds up. It's as simple as that. Julia, nobody is going to blacklist you. Again, one thing I will say, Julia, you're entitled to an opinion. And just because you went on a live with this person doesn't mean that you're a bad apple as such doesn't mean that you're going to bully other channels. You know, you've probably had the wool pulled over your eyes as well. It's very easily done. It's happened to me. I made that mistake. So I just want to put my hands up there as well and make sure everybody in this chat, I don't want anything negative to come from this towards anybody else's channel. If that happens, you know, I might not speak, I might not be able to talk to you anymore, because I don't want this to promote further bullying to anybody, not even the person in question. Okay. So I just want to be crystal clear on that. I don't want any bullying whatsoever on anybody's channel. But I am saying that people need to keep your eyes open. If this happens multiple times and we see people randomly disappearing, there's a reason why. Thanks, Wendy. Again, you know, I love this community. That's why I do it. That's why I do 40 hours in the day job, followed by 40 hours of resin. I've got 80-hour weeks at the minute, but I do it because it's worth it for the people in this community. And again, that's why I've got a voice, and I'm sorry, but I will use it. Again, Lisa, I hope so. You know, anybody else that's had run-ins with this individual, reach out. You know, if you want to voice it, you know, if we get a few people that want to voice it and have that courage, I'll host a live. You know, the community deserves to know what's going off. And I don't want it to be just my words, and clearly it isn't from what we've seen today. Again, I want to be clear, you know, this Crafty YouTubers United is an amazing community. I can't say enough for the people in that community. This isn't about that community. This is about one person in that community who claims to have control over it, and that Discord in particular, which is where most of the community reside. And if you disagree with that person, it seems like you're booted and then you're automatically labeled as a bully, because I've seen that 3 or 4 times. These aren't rumors either, Gert. I just want to say I've got evidence to back up everything I've said, and I'm happy to share them. If we nominate one person that the whole resin community trusts, I will share every document and piece of evidence that I've got. This isn't about rumors. This isn't about gossip. These are facts, and I wouldn't be saying it unless I could evidence it. I agree with that, Shannon, as well. Hurt people do hurt people sometimes, and that's why I'm hoping that if this is the case, that person just gets help, you know. But it doesn't excuse treating others badly. And again, I don't know what people's views are after tonight, and you can make your own minds up, you know. But what I will say is go back and watch the body language as well. It's very easy to see. And I'm not an actor, you know that. You've seen my videos. I'm just an open book, and that's why I've done this, so that people can ask me anything. But you can also see my body language. I haven't got an ounce of hatred for anyone, and even though they're making false accusations against me, I wish them the best. You know, people can have whatever view they want. You know, it's as simple as that. Again, I think we do all have to stick together, Dan. You know, it's the only way we grow. And I say it all the time, we only grow together. We do. You know, as a community, resin's exciting at the minute. It's been growing consistently since lockdown, I think. And we're only at the start of where it can go, you know. And that's what really excites me, is everybody coming into the space now that's setting up a YouTube channel. There's plenty of space for us all. And the more we support each other, the more we keep growing. And again, just massive shout out to those artists as well that have taken time out of their day on Good Friday to come in here and talk about this as well, because they don't have to do that, you know. And again, I just want to say massive shout out for them being here as well. I wasn't expecting it, if I'm being honest. But I think we all know them, we all respect them, you know. It's as simple as that. And they wouldn't be where they are unless they had the right ethics. You know, it's sad. It really is. And you can probably hear it in my voice, you know. I'm not angry at all. I don't have an ounce of anger. I'm just really, really disappointed, you know. And again, I was quite open about doing this live in this format And I've said that this person in question, I welcome her on, you know, to tell me her side of the story, and to call me a liar if she thinks I am, you know. That again, I think it speaks volumes. If somebody was putting out there, and that's why I did another short today. I sent a short out there because I know that people will have visibility on it that still speak to this individual. It was an opportunity for her to be here, you know. And I guarantee you, this particular individual, I think they had a premiere at 9 o'clock. I bet they were there. This would be more important to me because this community is more important to me. Again, that's why I've not done a Froggy Friday make this week. I feel really bad, actually, because it was going to be a surprise one for Lula. So sorry about that, Lula. Hopefully you'll get it next week. I hope so, Claire. You know, people might believe me. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you for being here as well, Claire. I think you're amazing. I can't wait for the 6th of May to speak to you and Wendy on the live as well. I think that's going to be a laugh, and I think we'll have a good joke. But no, really appreciate you being here as well, and appreciate the support, you know. I agree, Michelle. Anybody being bullied should always speak up, you know. Don't suffer in silence. That's when they win. It's as simple as that. April, I don't think it'd be professional of me to share the whole conversations that I've had unless there's a reason to do so, including the emails that I have, including the DMs. I could quite happily do that if I needed to. Honestly, I don't think I need to. I think the majority of the community that knows me and has watched my lives, they know me, you know, and compare the two of us and then tell me who you believe, you know. But I have the evidence in case I need it. So if this does get reported or anything like that, I've got it. And I'm happy to share it with, as I say, if we nominate one trusted individual in that new Discord, I'll share the documents with them and the evidence so they can back it up. Simple as that. I agree, Donna. We do all start small. I was actually having a laugh with somebody earlier on about my first video from 5 years ago. I look 12 and I'm keeping the beard, that's for sure. But go back and watch it. I've left it on the channel, you know. It's quite a funny one. And it took me a good 3 years before I saw any growth. You know, you've got to keep being persistent. You've got to keep coming in every day. You've got to keep turning up. And if stuff like this is happening, it makes that part of the journey so much harder. And that's another reason I wanted to do this. Tina, please don't. If you walk away from it all, guess what? Bullies win. That's what they want. You know, never, ever, ever give in to a bully, you know, and that's why I'm doing this as well. I'm going to be here week in, week out. I don't care if she unleashes 20, 30 people to put nasty messages on my videos, which has happened before. So be it. I'll respond. You know, I've got a voice and I will respond to those messages. But I'm here forever, you know, and that's why, again, I'm standing up for what's happened now. Again, do you know what? My daughters watch my channel sometimes. They could have seen that comment accusing me of bullying old ladies. I've got 2 daughters. You know, this is again, that is slander. And I haven't bullied anyone. I think I've been clear tonight as to who the bully was. Everyone's thanking Claire as well. And I'm going to keep going through this chat because it's a bit strange with just me being on screen, but I'm going to carry on. Gert, I agree. You can block somebody that you don't get along with. What I don't think you have the right to do is boot them from a Discord that they've been part of supporting other channels for months just because they disagreed with you and they asked you to stop contacting suppliers about their channel. That's not a threat. You know, that isn't a threat. I don't care how you look at it. And actually, I have been threatened by the fact that this individual said they'd gone to the police, which I don't believe. She's gone to her legal team. I don't believe she has a legal team. She may have a solicitor friend. Okay, that's fine. But I don't believe she's gone to a legal team. And I don't believe she's reported it to YouTube. Because if she had, they would be asking me what's happened. And I would be disclosing the fact that it's actually her that slandered my channel. Most of us stick together. And do you know what, Tina, as well, as Wendy's saying there, don't be put off. Please don't, because then they win. And what I will say, since this has kicked off, there's been people that have reached out to me that I haven't really talked to. And I've seen a whole new side to different people that are wonderful people and supported me, you know? So please do not be put off. There are some amazing people out there. That's good, Lynn. I mean, I'm not, you know, but I promise everybody on this channel, if you all pick one person that you all trust, and I don't know who it would be, I honestly don't, I will share every piece of evidence I've got. And that's how confident I am, you know? I think Amy's joking as usual. At least you made me smile. Again, this no problem if you've got to go, Tonknado, you know. I want to give people transparency. I am an old man, Lula. You're a goblin as well, but there we go. Len, I hope nobody bullies you, you know. Nothing is being said in Discord. Well, I'm glad that you've stopped it, Gert, if that's the case. To be fair, I haven't had reports from anyone say that it has been discussed recently. And I think that was the right thing to do. So thank you for that, Gert. You know, I don't think people should be discussing somebody in a way what they don't have a way to defend themselves. And again, that's why I put it out there that I was doing this live, and the person in question was more than welcome to come in, you know, and say their version of events. I agree, Sandy. Again, just to keep stressing, this community is amazing. And it's so supportive. There's so many amazing people in it. But all it takes is one bad apple, you know, and that ruins it for all of us sometimes. We could be losing some amazing artists. Again, I just want to say, I've seen that comment as well. Let's all be respectful of each other's opinion, you know. Everyone will have one, you know, and again, I don't want people to have a different opinion or anything like that. I don't, honestly, I just want people to see and make their own decisions, you know. Everybody's allowed their own opinion, and I want to be clear on that. And this is one of the things that I said up in the Discord as well when we were discussing that particular brand. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. It shouldn't just be one opinion, you know. And that's the thing, people have to make their own minds up. But when I have no other way of defending myself and my channel and my community and my reputation, I have to do it, you know. I agree with that. You don't need big channels to grow, Petra. You just need to be consistent and keep doing it, you know. You never know, you might have a video that takes off. I don't think I've had a viral one yet. Who knows? It might be coming up. No, I saw that, Tina. That's what, again, I'm pretty confident nothing's being said at the minute in Discord. Might be on DMs. I don't know, to be honest, and I don't care. That's private between people, whatever they want to discuss in DMs. When people make it public, then it's public. There was a few days ago, a few comments that I was a little bit upset by. But again, people have shared them with me. So I am aware of what was being said. But it is what it is. And some of those comments surprised me, actually, because I felt that I'd got a good relationship with those people and I'd supported them, you know? So I would have thought they'd have at least approached me first before making a decision. But again, maybe they don't know the full story. That's another reason I'm doing this. That's great, Julia. No, I'm just saying, I'm aware it's not been discussed in Discord recently. It was at the time. I don't think it's bravery, Rin. I just think I've got a voice and I'm prepared to use it, you know? What's 6? What's Lula going on about with 6? You'll have to explain that one. And sorry, I'm a bit behind on the chats, but I'm still going to go through them all. I agree, Gert. It does feel like we're back at school again, you know? And I'll be honest, I was bullied in school, you know, until I stood up for myself. And that's exactly what's happening again now. And I'm a 43-year-old man. And the person in question, I'm sure, is in her 50s. You know, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. It isn't about opinion, but people will always have an opinion. And that's the key, Veronica. You know, people can have their own opinion and choose what they want. Gertie, I love you to bits. I think you're great, and I love the banter that we have. You know, I think you're great, and I'll keep on supporting your channel and watching you. You know, and I don't care. You can continue supporting this individual if you want to. You know, and I think everybody in this chat can support that person as well if they want to. But I'm just doing this so that people know my side of the story, and so that people know. You know. There you go. Lots of love for Gert in the chat as well. Lynn's feeling a bit left out. She's not getting enough love. Lynn, I love you too. There you go. I looked at the camera for that one as well. Erica, you're amazing. Lisa's amazing. Everybody's amazing, you know. Everybody in this chat is absolutely amazing. And I include the people that I've met for the first time tonight, you know. It's been a tough live. And you can probably hear it in my voice. I'm not as upbeat as I normally am. This has been a really, really tough life for me. I didn't want to do it, but I felt that I had no other choice. So if there was another way, I would have done it, you know. But everybody here is amazing, you know. It's just sad what's happened, you know. Thanks, artist Resin, or I think Suda, isn't it? So thank you. I hope it gets sorted as well, you know. There's nothing else from my point to sort now. I think it's done. I think I want this to be the final say on it. You know, people can watch it and make their own minds up. I know what's going to happen over the next few weeks. I'm going to get nasty comments on all of my videos because that's what I've seen happen to so many other creators. Feel free. I will respond to each and every comment. But I'm just going to go whiz through these as quickly as I can now and see if I've missed any other questions. So again, can you believe it? We've been here for nearly 2 hours with just me. What's going off? I'm getting a bit lonely. But if anybody has any more questions, I suppose I'm giving you a 5-10 minute warning now whilst we go through these last few as I'm catching up. I don't think it's being constantly talked about anymore, Sandy. I think it was for the first day or so, and then probably more in DMs. So, and I don't mind what people want to say in the DMs to each other. You know, that's just normal life, I'm afraid. People will have conversations about you. It's when it goes public. Thanks, Lula. And nice to see that you missed me out in that one. And I called you my favorite goblin earlier. I wish I could bake a cake full of rainbows and smiles and we could all eat and be happy. Mean Girls. Brilliant comment there, Johnny. I was wondering what kind of cakes you're referring to there, but there we go. Rin, it's completely up to you. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not asking people to do that. If they do, that's their own choice, you know. I actually feel sorry for this person because I don't believe that she knows it, even knows what she's doing. And I think she denies it to herself. And I think she believes that she's doing what she makes out she's doing, but behind the scenes there's another side. And I don't even know if she sees it, you know. So I'm not asking people to do that. So don't go unsubscribing. Don't do anything like that. Don't put any nasty comments in her videos. I don't want that. So I want to be clear on that. So again, please don't do that. You know, it's up to you who you subscribe to. Susie, I'm used to stress, trust me. What was that comment from Lynn? See, that's the difference. Because we've got such a friendly community, we know that comment there isn't bullying, you know, and we take it on the chin and it's a laugh, you know, and that's fine. That's part of being here, you know, being part of a fun community. But no, I don't want anybody to quit any community because it's not that community's fault, you know. I'm just explaining why I won't be part of it anymore. So, but if everybody in that community wants to do it, that's up to you. I am going to start up this new Discord and the link will be in this after I finish this live. You know, you can join it or don't join it. It's up to you. The first week, I want people to join it. And if you want to be a Resin Guardian for that community, we need a team of 10. Stick your name in there and then everybody else can vote for you. That way, it's people that are elected in, almost like a democracy, And no decision will be made without that team of 10 people making a joint decision and going to the community with it. I want to create a true community Discord. It's going to be nothing to do with my channel. That's why I've called it something completely different. United We Resin. Because I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about that community. If they want to go down that route, I think that will fix the problem. But that's up to you. Again, Sally, I'm sure that everybody loves you as well. I think your videos are amazing as well, so keep it up. I'm going through these last few ones now. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you being here, Again, you're amazing with your experiments and your channel. People don't follow you. They need to. It's as simple as that, Got some amazing experiments and I've learned so much. Thank you. I hope I've been respectful. I've met some amazing people in that community as well, I count you in that as well, Kernix Creations. So it was great having you on a live. Monkey and Nikki. It's been brilliant. And I love your commentaries, by the way, as well. So, there's some fab people in that community. I don't want anybody watching this live thinking this is against that community in any way, shape, or form. It's just one person that has done this to my channel and other channels and put it in the public domain and accused me of bullying old women. That's why I've had to respond. I can try and smile, Susie. So there you go. It's a little bit fake. Oh, thanks, Wendy, as well. You're amazing. Well, I hope I have, Some people don't dare come forward, I'm not one of those people. I will never, ever step down to a bully, I've ended up in hospital before for getting involved in splitting up fights, what I haven't agreed with, I never back down to a bully. And it's one thing I've learned in life, and if I can help other channels by doing it, I will. Yeah, that's right, Amy. Group hug. That'd be strange on camera, wouldn't it? But there we go. The Discord is already created. I just haven't put the link in here yet. I'll do it at the end, and everybody is welcome to join. Again, I've created a basic format because I don't want to make the decisions in there. I want the people that are elected as the Resin Guardians to make the decisions with the community's backing. I put a basic format in there. It can all be changed. Do I want to be part of that community? Yes. And I will be part of that community. Do I want to control it? No. And that's why I've done it that way. So I think that way, no one person controls it, I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning yesterday finishing it. And that's just the basic format. So, and I'm happy to work on it with you guys and get it to be exactly what you want. Again, Jules, I agree. It's a pattern of behavior. There's been numerous channels. Dan, you should write a book. I'd buy it. There we go. So Dan's going to have a book coming out soon, hopefully over the next few months. No, it's fine, Sally, and there'll be people that are probably in this chat right now that haven't said anything, and I wouldn't be surprised if the person in question is actually in this chat somewhere under a false name. It's possible. You don't need to talk out. You don't need to talk. You don't need to say your views. I'm just saying this so that people know they can watch it back. If they want to, make your own decisions. And as I say, if you guys as a community want to nominate one person that you all trust in the resin world for me to share the evidence with, to back it up, I'm happy to do that. And that goes to any suppliers as well. Any suppliers that this individual may have spoken to about my channel, I can back it all up. And if you want to see what evidence I've got, let me know and I'll send it you. Good question, actually. Dan, are you going to the NEC this year? I was thinking about going myself, but I heard that there's quite a few of the big channels not going. So do I, Mary. It would be amazing to meet up with everyone, And actually, interesting, I'm meeting two resin channel creators tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to. Hopefully that will cheer me up a little bit. So I'm meeting a couple of the community tomorrow in real life. I'll try and get them to do a quick video and share it as well. I think that'll be funny. No, that's great, Tina. I'm glad nothing's been said since. And as I said, I don't think it has since. There's a possibly from Dan on Makers. Dodgy tattoo. Are you referring to mine? I've got a few dodgy ones done, I can tell you that. Tell you what, Dan, if you go, I'll go. How does that sound? We can meet up IRL. Oh, that's very nice. For those of you that don't know, Mary from Resin Up's going to be doing an auction as well on her channel. I think she said the end of May, to raise some money for Riley, her granddaughter, to go to the nationals. So I'm going to support that as well and send her some of my pieces for the UK audience, so that we don't have any problems with this postage going backward and forward. And again, just all of the proceeds for that will go towards Riley's trip. So again, that's just something else I'm doing. So thanks, Lisa, for joining me in doing that. Right, and I think we're getting towards the end now. I haven't seen any more questions, but if we've got any more questions, now's the time. April, I couldn't agree more. These matters should be dealt with privately, but there are times when it can't be dealt with privately. When people slander you in public on your channel, accusing you of being a bully. And I'm just going through these last three, because can you believe it's been 2 hours nearly? There you go. I couldn't agree with that, Maureen. She's attacking my channel, speaking to suppliers about my channel behind my back. You know, she's admitted that in DMs. What more can I say? I'm not going to admit or deny that name that's just popped up on screen. Miss T is the name. But this individual did leave comments on a live that I did with them. So she's naming herself in that video by putting those comments on and accusing me of bullying old ladies. The threat was that if, and again, this is what she viewed as a threat. The threat was that if I went to, basically I said to her that if I heard that she'd gone to another supplier and spoke to them about my channel, I would go public with the information. She said that was a threat, therefore I was a bully, and I was kicked out immediately. Since then, she has actually slandered my channel by accusing me of bullying old ladies, and threatened me on her live yesterday, which I think Julie was actually on, who's in this chat. And in that, she threatened me by saying that she's gone to the police, her legal team, and reported me to YouTube. That's a threat. What I did wasn't a threat, you know? Don't worry about it, Michelle. It will all be staying on the channel. You can go back and watch it if you want to. I just want fun as well, Tina. I just want to make good resin projects, share the knowledge, and have fun. Everybody's got their own opinion, Julia. And again, you know, I appreciate yours. Okay, Wendy, sorry. Do you want me to? That's a joke. But no, I'm glad that I don't bully you. I would never want to be known to be a bully, you know. I think we're getting towards the end. So if anybody's got any more questions, put them in caps lock. I'll answer them before we close this down. And if you're watching back afterwards, feel free to ask any questions. I agree, you know, I have been made out to be the enemy here. But that's also, and I said this earlier on in my head, this is what bullies or narcissists, whatever you want to call them, count on. And it's a bit like, one of my exes was in an abusive relationship, you know, and she always said that her partner at the time, who she classed as a narcissist, would be abusive towards it, and then the next day be nice as pie. You know, there's two different sides to them very often, you know, and that's how I look at it. Thanks, Rin. The link for the Discord, as soon as we've closed out the live, I'll put it in there, and then look forward to chatting with everyone a bit more in there. But I think we're about there, unless any other questions. Last chance. Well, I'm sure, Kernix or Nicky and Monkey, you'll probably see the Troll Squad on my videos over the next few days. Watch them and you'll see. It started today on one of my videos. And every time somebody gets booted from that Discord, it seems to happen. So keep your eyes open. I don't think it's you, Lynn. They control away, you know. It's their choice. I'm not going to say who's in that troll squad, but it's very clear that there is one by the fact that every time somebody gets booted from that Discord, all of a sudden they start getting negative comments on all of their videos. I'm just going to say that and leave that there because I've seen it happen to other channels that have been booted, clearly masterminded by somebody. Again, I think there's always two sides to every story. That's what I was saying in Discord when we were referring to a particular brand, you know. Agreed. There's no good or evil actions and reactions. I like that explanation. I think people in general will now after this, you know, it's as simple as that. I'm not going to say the number of the video, Susie, but by all means, you can have a look at my lives. You can have a look at the lives. I did 2 lives with this person. So look at my live Q&A list, and they've put a comment in there accusing me of being a bully. And that's all I'll say. So you'll have to discover it for yourself. What's a rubbish name? I think I've missed something there. There we go. Donna's saying that there is more than one. I don't know. This is the person that targeted me. Can there always be alternate options for it? For what? Need an explanation on that one, I'm afraid, Nikki. There can always be another reason why it's happening. Of course there can, if that's what you mean. And I think invite to Discord. Basically, it's just going to be a link, Ren. Very simple. I'll send you one. I'll send you on an email because I know I've got your email. Flappish United. I like it. But there we go. I agree, Gert. I know that you posted in that Discord that you didn't want anybody talking about it. And I think that was the right move. So thank you for that. Of course you can, Sandy. I say anybody's welcome in that. You're not going to need an invite, you know. At the end of the day, for that Discord, the whole point is you're not going to need to email somebody and then a secret society is going to send you a link. I'm going to publicly put it in this video at the bottom. I'll share it to whoever wants it and we can all join it together. There we go. And I trust Dan's opinion. You know, he's amazing. And again, I've got to know him through watching his videos. I trust his opinion. There we go. Happy Flappy. I might get him on camera in a minute. One channel to rule them all. I'm not sure about that, and that's not the point of it either, Amy. But I do like the joking manner there. You know, Sandra, nice to meet you. I can stop calling you Tiger Moth Resins now. I think we've got Chris Licious with us as well. And I think we're getting towards the end now. I can't see any other questions. So I just want to close this out by saying, again, I want to be clear. I don't want any animosity towards the person in question, even if you have figured out who it is, you know, because I genuinely think that that person just needs to take a good hard look and get help. You know, I want us all to grow. I want us all to keep growing together. I want us all to keep supporting each other and helping. That's what this whole community is about. Okay. Thanks for that, Nikki or Monkey, whoever it is. It was very quick. I was shocked. You know, within 10 seconds, boom, you're gone. Yeah, the Discord's already set up. I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning doing it. I just haven't shared the link anywhere apart from with 2 people to make sure it works. So I'm going to share that in a second. In fact, Lisa, if you're still on this live, I think you are at the side, do you want to share the link in chat to that Discord? You should be able to just click on the top and then put invite to server and just share that in the chat so that everybody can see it in this chat as well. And again, everyone's saying it was incredibly quick. It was. But that also makes me think that this person might be just quite irrational, you know, and just lose a temper, you know. And again, is that somebody that you want in control of a massive community like YouTubers United? I don't, you know. And hopefully, Lisa's going to be sharing that link so you can all join that. Again, that's a basic setup Discord that I've just set up with basic thoughts. I want us to appoint those Resin Guardians over the next few weeks, and I'm excited to see what they can do with it and what you can do with it as a community, you know? And in that community, what is going to be different from every other Resin Discord? Not one person's going to control it. 10 people are, but we're going to decide as a community who they are. Right, I think, God, you guys, there's so much in chat. I'm just keep on going through it all. Veronica, I've had them on one of my lives as well, and I said that to them on the live. You know, it's their commentary. It keeps me hooked. You know, I love watching Koenig's creations. It makes me smile every time. No problem, Sally. Thanks for coming on as well. Appreciate you. Right. 100%. It's Art by Donna has just put, if you're starting a channel, don't let this discourage you. It's not the norm. It's not. And I promise you that. Most people you will meet out here in this community are genuine and they want to help. They want to support each other. This is just one bad apple that I want, especially new channels, to avoid. And any last questions? God, 2 hours and 10 minutes. What is going off? Okay, I didn't know that, Melissa. I didn't know that the same thing happened in the horror host community. I've not come across that one. We've got Claire back in with us. Who knows? We might be going all night at this rate. I was going to close this out, but let's see. Is there any more questions? Last chance. Bye, Sally. I don't even know how far behind I am on these comments. I'm just going through them. Are they? Okay, well, we're going to be on for another hour then, if I believe that, Amy. Wow. Here we go. Here we go. I think I'm speeding through them. I hope we're not an hour behind. I think I'm going to cry if we are an hour behind. At least you've made me smile, Amy. Agree with that. If she's the gatekeeper, it is under her control. Here we go. I'm powering through them now. Here we go. Monkey's going to take over the world from Koenig's by the looks of that. It's like Pinky in the Brain. Couldn't agree with that more, Melissa. Everybody has to stand up to bullies. It shouldn't be allowed. But if there's no, Andy hasn't spanned me. I don't know what you mean by that, Lula, if I'm being honest, but there we go. Must be a Welsh term. Either that or I just don't get what spannering is. Who knows? Great idea, Veronica. 8 moderators, not one person makes a decision. It's a democracy then. So, fish and chips. I am so jealous, Claire. Love fish and chips. Right, I think we're just going on to fish and chips now, which is amazing. But again, just before we close this out, I just want to say massive thank you to everybody that's turned up tonight. You know, also thank you in general in the chat. You know, it's been quite respectful, and I know that that can be hard when people have opinions. You know, people have views. It can be very hard, and it can often turn into an argument in the chat, which it hasn't. So I respect you all for that. And yeah, it's been amazing. I think we've had loads of comments in here. The link, has Lisa shared the link yet, anyone? Let's have a look. I'm scrolling as fast as I can. I've never had so many comments on a chat, you know. And now we're going on to food. So we've got lots of food comments, which is amazing. I agree with that as well, Mary, that these are our channels, that we decide how we run them. And who we want the sponsors. Nobody else has the right to tell you how to do the channel. I couldn't agree with that more, you know. And I'll work with any sponsor that I like the products, you know, simple as that. And I'll give an honest review. Here we go. I don't think you're blocked from commenting, Donna. I just don't think I've caught up with. Wow, I'm noticing I am about an hour behind. Right, let's speed up. I'm so excited for the live. So those of you that don't know as well, 6th of May, we've got Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner and Wendy from Team Pish on the same show. That is going to be mental. I can see it now. I don't think I'm going to get a word in edgeways, to be honest. And here we go. I'm not 12. Oh, thanks, Amy. I think you've gone back and watched my first video. I look about 13 in that one. And we're still about 20 minutes behind. I'm just noticing in chat. Julia, by all means, if you want to look at my one of my recent videos, the amazing dragon mold that I did with the tiny Turner pigments, you'll see what I'm referring to, because I had to pin a comment in there because of a comment that somebody else put in there. Again, Sherry, I don't like arguments as well. The only thing that escalated it in private chat was the fact that I asked her to stop contacting suppliers about my channel. That was it. Right, it is a wonderful community. I can't believe how far behind I am. I'm trying to go through 10 messages at once and not miss any out now. Right, any more questions in caps lock, because I'm just going to blitz through these now. Because you guys have had them in chat for about 30 minutes now. I've never been this far behind on a chat, on a live. Thanks, Len. Thanks for being here. And I'm guessing that you guys have already got the link to the Discord, and you've probably all already joined it for all I know. Let's have a look. Oh, we're getting there, I think. I don't know, Dan. To be honest, it's up to them. They know who they are, and they'll know what's happened. But it's up to them. Again, I don't hold the brand responsible. I hold the individual responsible for deciding it was their place to talk to them about my channel. Here we go. And I think I can't see. Thank you for agreeing that I'm right to speak out there. I'm sorry I'm going through this at such speed, but I know we've been going on for a little while now, and I want to just make sure that there's no important questions that I've missed. But it's been a very strange live as well, because it's just been me on the camera. People are fighting silent battles that you know nothing about. Be kind. Couldn't agree with that more, Amy. Couldn't agree with that more. I loved Robin Williams as well. He was amazing. Might start my next live with it. What do you think? Good morning, Resin community. You know, it could work. Am I catching up? Am I catching up, people? Oh, thanks, Lula. So based on that, I'm about 10 minutes behind. Made by Wendy. Can I still call you Charlie? You can call me what you want, as we said. Again, I'm looking for any more questions. This community is 100% amazing. You know, I'm not saying that this is the community. I'm saying that it's one bad apple and their actions within it. No prob, Sally. I think we're nearly at the end. Thanks, Claire, as well. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Dan, as well. Thanks, everybody. You know, it's been absolutely amazing. And I think we're finally catching up on the chat as well. But it's been very strange as well, just me on camera, you know, this whole, my lives, I'm used to having somebody else. So thank you all for putting up with my dulcet tones as well for the last 2 hours on a Friday evening, you know. I'm sure you've had some wine. Andy, Laura's saying that she had a name. She really had a problem with the name on your video. Not sure what you mean by that. I agree you should be judged for who you are and not who you're associated with. Laura, you know I think you're great. I've had you on a live and I think you're amazing. I don't number my videos, Susie, so I can't give you the number, I'm afraid. If you're referring to the initial slander, that is in my Q&A lives where somebody has accused me of bullying old ladies. If you're referring to another video, let me know. Right, question from Dan. We did get a question in the end. What would my final message be to anyone worried that this can happen to them? Be vocal if it does. You know, don't let it put you off. Most of this community is massively supportive. And as soon as you think somebody is bullying you or victimizing you or anything like that, make it public. Let's not let these bullies win. Don't forget, Mary, you're going to have a secret auctioneer as well turning up on the day. A special auctioneer. Thanks, Rin. And I saw the email pop up whilst we're on chat, and I did notice. Interestingly, no comments, though, I don't think. I'm open to suggestions. And you know what? It doesn't have to keep that name for that server. Once we've got the Resin Guardians, they'll decide the name. You know, if they want to change it, they can. It's not my Discord in any way, shape, or form. I've set it up, but I've done it for the community. I don't want any involvement in the decisions that go on in there. You guys can do all of that. I'm sure you could if you were elected, Erica. I agree. There's room for everybody in this Resin community. We've got to keep supporting each other, keep growing together, keep enjoying it, you know. But I think we're about there. Last one here is 10:10. Okay, we're 9 minutes behind. We were about an hour behind, so we're catching up. So this is really your last chance for any questions. It might have 4 mods in there, but it shouldn't give one person permission to just boot at somebody within 10 seconds. So that person may have 4 mods in there, Julia. Again, I'm not aware of all 4 of those mods, I don't think. But also, I don't think that they all have the same powers. If I'm understanding it correct from one of the mods that I've spoken to. Discord is basically, it's like a chat group. Here we go. No problem, Sally. I appreciate you doing that. Again, people can have the views. They can put comments, whatever they want on any of my videos. I will respond, you know. And positive or negative, do you know what? It all helps the algorithm, helps the videos get out there. Last question from Julia. Who gets to determine it? Do you know what? The whole community can determine it. I know there's been a couple of people that I think are very trusting in this chat tonight. And one of those has already spoke up, so he knows that he agrees. Happy to share the documents with him and him to verify if people want to. Laura, I know the name on this video is I was bullied out by Miss T. Okay. That's what I'm referring to. It is not the community overall. And I've said that about 20 times in this live. I mentioned a group of people because that was the Discord from which I was kicked by this one individual. And that one individual shouldn't have that power, you know? But again, go back and watch it all. You'll see from the start. It's not about this community. It was one individual. I tell you what, if you guys elect people and they call it Flappers R Us, I might have something to say. Oh, thanks for that. We're nearly caught up now. Did Lisa ever share that link? It's looking like she didn't. I'm going to be having a word. I'm glad you found it professional, Dan. Look forward to talking soon. And if you guys, as I say, if you want to nominate one person, all of you together, do it in the Discord, you know. Nominate one person. I think we're pretty much caught up now. Caught up. Come on. So last 2 minutes really is now for any questions. But I'll share the Discord link. Oh, she did share it. Okay, that's fine. I'll take it back. I'm not looking for a new mod just yet. But good. I'm glad it was shared. Get it. I'm going to get in that Discord now just to see if anybody's in there. Might not be. Who knows? And let's keep on having fun. Let's keep supporting each other. And remember what I said. I don't want any negativity to come from this live towards anybody, you know, and I won't be happy if that happens either. So keep supporting each other, you know, let's keep growing. Let's keep doing it together. Sorry, Lisa. And there you go. You've had a live apology, but no, appreciate everyone being here again. And thank you very much. And I will see you all hopefully on Tuesday, which is going to be amazing because we have got Lou on from Create and Bloom, which I'm really excited by. I've just been introduced to her pastes and I am loving them. And if you missed it, there was the live that we did a while ago where we did those amazing blooms where you chose the colors. Go back and watch it. And I hope you've enjoyed this live as much as you can. And I'll see you all later. I'll see you all later and appreciate you all.